Can you see me?
Says you're live and I can see you.
Okay, good. All right, all I need is a telephone to see who is commenting. Because they might be commenting. Hey, friends, are y'all showing up? Seems like a long time since I've been here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. I will put this right here. I'm going to hang around until we have a few people. When you get here, comment down at the bottom, say hey, or so I know who's here. It looks like we have 6 people already, do we? Yay! Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Y'all are the first ones I've seen since the New Year, except for Doug, of course. I've said that to people, but I haven't seen them. So, Happy New Year. This is 2021. I've been looking forward to this for years and years and years.
Jack Schwartz is in Costa Rica watching you.
Hey, Jack. Well, I'm glad you went to the island to watch all this way. So, friends, I'm so happy you're here. We have a lot to cover tonight. I'm going to show you what I've been working on and some new ideas that I've gotten. And it's kind of the what's going on in my world, in the world of Annie McHugs, you know, as we start gearing up. And so I appreciate y'all letting us take a couple of weeks off. Tonight I'm going to show you this quilt behind me. It is made using my new tool. And my new tool is ready except for the final printing, and that had to wait until this week. This is what it looks like. It's called the orange peel. And the orange peel is this football shape. Can you see that? And then I've shown y'all this before. It's taped together on the back because it comes in pieces. But what I did was I used it to make these. This is 16 blocks. So, let's see if I can do this. Yep, that'll work. Look, that is a block. Not the border. But that is a block. See that? Then this is a block. I wish I had a frame thing for it. I'm going to make one of those so it'll be easier next time. So this quilt has 16 of these blocks. I taught this class back in July to some friends when I was testing before I went into production on my tool. So it is a real quick, simple thing to do. In fact, this is going to be a donation quilt, the Christian Quilt Guild, which I'm one of the founders. We meet the first Thursday of each month. That'll be this week. If you're in the General Tyler area, even if you're in Dallas, come on over. Just let me know you're coming. I'll give you the address and all that. But what we do is we have several charities and organizations that we make quilts for during the year. At Christmas, we gave 50, almost 60 quilts to Salvation Army. We partnered with the Quilt Guild of East Texas, and there were 87, I think, quilts that we ended up giving to the children of the Angel Tree program at Salvation Army. That's low income, and they have to qualify. Their parents have to qualify them. It's based on income and household stuff. So we gave a bunch of quilts to them. So we're always making kids quilts. That's birth to 12, age 12. We also have picked up another organization that is a ministry here in Texas called And Then There Were None, and they have retreats for women who are exiting the abortion industry. And so they're trying to help them get any sort of mental, emotional job help that they can as they exit that industry. And so we make quilts for them. And they have these retreats, and we send them to the retreats. And so there are about 8 quilts that are sent. So it's on my heart to make for these women that are trying to heal from the trauma that they have, that they're going through after leaving. So this is one of those quilts. 16 blocks. Real quick. 16 blocks. It doesn't take long. A small 2-inch inner border. And then an outer border. And you know, I did this in numbers. Let me get my ruler. numbers don't stay in my mind. It's probably an 8-inch border all the way around. So it comes out to be about just under 60 inches square. But this was donation fabric. I want to give a shout out to Crafts and Quilting here in Tyler. They donated a bunch of fabric, and we have a lot of donors that do that. Gave fabric, and I felt when I saw this fabric, I thought I'm going to make a quilt using that. So I did, and I used yellow. I'm going to show you. Hi, Nita Brown. Hi, Pat. Hi, Catherine. I want to show you how quick and simple this process is. If y'all are game to learning something. So it's my new tool. I have to tell y'all that the one I use for me, like when I'm working on stuff, doesn't have all the pretty printing on it. So I get to open one. I think I'll keep this one. Okay, so here's the tool, and here's the inner windows, right? So this is a window. And this is a window, right? Okay, so the way this works is the tool has this really nice film on the back that makes it non-slip, which is really cool. So you position the tool on your 10-inch square. So you can use layer cakes. In this situation, I cut yardage, but I did it so you could use layer cakes. I used some sort of pen that will erase. I use friction. That's what I use. And then the next step is to cut out the center. And I had to go get my cutter. I normally use a small cutter, but no telling where it is. So I'll just use the big one. I've done this enough. I'm not scared. So you cut out the center. Y'all, I'm showing you how to make a different thing. All right. Let me backtrack. Let me backtrack. I'm sorry. You don't cut anything on this quilt. My bad. Whew, my bad. Thank you, Doug. Whew, I'm crazy. I was thinking about, I got into a habit, right? Okay, there's this shape. See that? Now, I made bias tape. Have y'all ever made bias tape? And used one of these? Do y'all have one of these? Have I got that positioned correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So on these, I use the blue one. And the blue one you cut at 1 7/8, I believe. And yes. And when you run it through that little thing, it comes out at 1 inch wide of bias tape. So you cut it on the bias and you iron it. You know, you stick it through and iron it. I do it, and I enjoy doing it. So watch what happens. I take my bias tape, and you see this line right here? This outer line. I'm going to go to my sewing machine. I'm not going to pin or anything. I'm just going to go to my sewing machine. And can you see how that darker line is right there? Right there beside it. So I just stitch. In my sewing machine, I just stitch all along here. Got that? And then I go a little way, and then I reposition this. And I just keep stitching. And I just lay this down and stitch it. And because it's bias tape, as I'm stitching, it will curve. Once I do that, I trim the tail off. Then I go back to my sewing machine. Actually, I started hitting this with an iron and it laid it down real pretty. And then I stitch along this side. So now I have this, all laid down, all the way down. I go off the edge. All right, this is like so. You can see it. Once this side is completely stitched down, Doug's breathing heavy. Can y'all hear him? Once that side is stitched down, Then I come back and I stitch this side down. Once I do that, I stitch the inside. So it's just 4 long stitches. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. Once I have that done, then I have this block right here. See that? It's so easy. The only thing that takes any time is cutting, truly, in my opinion, is I cut all these strips on the bias. I stitch them all together. I run them through that little blue size. I get what I need. They're all stitched together in a big old long snake. Look, this is what I had left over. Plus these pieces that I was going to use tonight. This is what I had left over. I made so many. But that doesn't bother me a bit because I can use this later. Y'all know yellow's the new color of the year, right? So that's how I did these pieces. Then I turn them this way and this way and this way. This way and this way, and just did them opposite. And that creates the circle.
I was just letting them see. You
Can
can
you
see the
see-
stitches.
Can you see the stitches? I tried to use a thread that would blend so it wouldn't stand out. Now, if you want to use that as an accent, you know, some bright thread, you know, you can use that as a design element for sure. Okay, what do you think? Hi, Marisa. Does Sharon know about this, Laura? She knows it's coming. I'm waiting on the final printing, and y'all will be getting it. So, yes, she knows it's coming. It's very exciting. So, I'm super happy about this. This is going to be a lot of fun and, you know, something new to do. We all need something new to do. Can't believe I started cutting that one. I apologize. Okay, so this will end up being, I would say, what I worked on it several hours. You know,
fast.
probably 4 or 5 hour quilt top, maybe at that. Because it's just so quick and simple. But I think it makes an effective quilt, especially for a donation quilt for an adult, probably a young woman, probably under the age of 40, I'm guessing. What do y'all think? Do you think that, put in the comments, do you think that would be is a good quilt as a gift? Okay, so what I had on my mind when I started cutting on this one was how I made this. Do y'all remember me showing you this? Can you see it? Do y'all remember me showing you this? The window was strip quilted. Do you see I just did strips? So the process on this literally was what I started to do because I'm such in a habit of doing it. You cut out this window. See that? I save these. You see this little piece? That's what goes in the center, so I'm not wasting. So you cut this out, make a hole. It's reverse applique. Everything I do is going to be this reverse applique. And then I snip, just like I do on everything else, right, to fold the edges under. I just, you know, like the closer I do it, the prettier the curve. And there's no, you know, there's no rule. So I'll do that side. And then, of course, you know I use glue. Doug said it was here. Here it is. So I glue this side down. You know, I snip all the way around. Gosh. I glue this down. All the way around. Y'all get the idea, right? Once I glue it all the way around, then I have to fill that window with something. Pretend like that. In this case, I did a strip set. I used a layer cake that I had, And I cut to maybe, well, I guess we'd have to measure to know what I did. I did 1¼ inch. I'm sorry, 1½ inch strips. 1½ inch strips. And I did it, I filled the window. I opened the window and folded it back, just like I'm talking about. I filled the window with the strip set and then stitched that together. Once that was all stitched together, I drew the inner window, this little bitty window. I can't. Once this was all sewn together, it was solid strips. Then I put this there and drew the inner window, cut it out, and used my leftover from the original cutout. So this is a new, this is what this tool will do. And I have my whole quilt top. Are you ready? I have a quilt top made now. See, I think this is the top. What do y'all think? So, I can't see any comments. Can y'all see this? Can they see the pattern, Doug? All right. You go over there and make sure they see the pattern, because if they're not seeing the pattern, they're missing it.
Yes.
They are?
Yes.
Is that cool, y'all? Tell me if you think it's cool. Somebody comment. You love it? Oh, good. Oh, Betty, you're not late. I understand. Getting here. Oh, y'all want to know what happened to my finger? Okay, I'll tell you about my finger, actually. Okay, look at this. This is, what I'm going to show you on this real quick is the layout. It's the same concept as it's the tool, right? And on this one, I didn't do, remember how I showed you the inner window? Well, on this one, I said I don't want to do the inner window, right? So I just did the big window. But you see this and this? I snowballed the corners. It's not hard. That's 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks. They're all going bottom left to top right. These 4, same exact thing. An open window with the strips and then the snowballed corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here, 4 going that way, and over here 4 going that way, and it makes that design. Is that so fun? Snowballed corners, that's all it is, snowballed corners. Y'all, this is so fast and easy. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It is so fast and so easy. And that's a great, you see that secondary design? That just really draws my eye. I see that negative space, so I have the, you can stop, baby. Doug, I know. Y'all, he's huffing and puffing and shaking. Not really, but you did good, honey. Oh my goodness. So, this tool does the same thing. You cut your, and then I added borders. Y'all see that, right? I just added borders. I'm going to show you again. It's a square. It's a 10-inch square. You cut your orange peel shape out. You fold it back. You have to fill the window. I filled it with strips. They're all the same size, but they're all from the same collection. It came in a layer cake. And then I snowballed the corners. So next time I will have it quilted. I made the top. Did I make the top? I mean, I made the back. Did I make the back today?
Back, and I think finished.
Oh, well. Y'all, it all runs together for me. Anyway, it's just, so somebody said it looked hard. It's not. It's so easy if you only If I could only convince you how easy it is. Now, so we have choices. The cool part about this new tool is you can do the orange peel window and just fill it, right? So that's one choice. You can do the orange peel and fill it with what came out, you know, and do an inner window. So you have two windows. So that's a double window. That's two ways right there, right? Now, y'all want to see something really cool? Let me grab. Since next month is Valentine's, I chose this, but truly that's not the reason why. It was the only partial charm pack I had, and I was like, oh, that'll work. It's Valentine's. So, you see the little inner window? This little one? It came, you know, right out of it came out of the middle. Right? So it came out of the center. Well, when I designed it and had it manufactured, watch what happens. It fits on a charm pack. Now, most orange peels, if you go out there, historically, in fact, I've never seen it done any other way. It's appliqué to the top, but not us. I mean, we can. Y'all remember you can use these as, you know, if you want to applique on top of something. But look, do you see what I did? I drew that. Now, I can cut that out. I'm using a really, a really big blade. But only because I didn't have all my tools worked out. Okay. Now, I would snip, just like always. I do a lot of snipping in my life. Right? And I would glue, and I would turn that over, glue it down. Just like everything else, I spend my life gluing things down. Doesn't bother me a bit. Okay, so pretend like that's all glued down. See, it gives a real nice finish. Then I would come along with some other contrasting color. I found that contrasting colors work best. So pretend like that's all folded back, okay? And then your window would be filled with whatever you would want to fill it with. Does that make sense? So that's not a how-to lesson. It's just giving you some ideas of ways you can use this. So big windows, little windows, window within a window. You know how it is. I make a tool and it's going to do a gazillion different things. And that's what's really fun. I mean, that really excites me. So anyway, this is going to be available. The pricing on this, we have just figured it out with all the stuff you have to do with pricing. It's going to be the same exact price as this, which is, this is $44, and this will be also. And what has to be printed, or what has to be printed are the step-by-step instructions, and I'm going to do some special videos. So I'm excited about that. Thank you, Betty, and thank you, Nita and Pam. The colors, I guess you're talking about the blue one. I love that blue, but then see, I like primary colors, and that has that sort of primary color feel, so I just love that. Okay, so Noelle asked what happened to my finger. Well, when I was a little girl, my grandmother always had Jergens lotion by her sewing machine. My grandmother always smelled like Jergens lotion, and she sewed all the time. She worked and she sewed. That's all I remember about her. She was a telephone operator, and then she worked in a fabric shop. But she always had Jergens lotion. Well, now I have figured it out. My hands get real dry, and fabric absorbs the moisture out of my hands. Well, over the holidays, I cut my fingernails back just because you know how they get too long to type and stuff. So I cut them back, and I cut this one a little bit short, and it split like down below the quick. in a day or two. And I think it's just dry nails. But so I started wearing not a rubber band. What are they called? Band-Aids. To because it's cut. I mean, it's split right down down the middle, way down in there. It hurt. And Doug said, I think we should get you some finger cots. I had no idea what he was talking about. I had no idea. So he said, you know, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, he showed me. He went to his room. He worked at, and he's a tech guy, but he worked at the hospital. Did you get him at the hospital? Is that what you told me? Okay, so he got him at the hospital, and he had a couple left over, and I just rolled that little thing right down over my finger, and I don't have to wear a rubber band or anything. So I'm really not hurt, Noelle. I'm really not hurt. It's just I'm protecting that because that little, if I catch the fingernail on a thread, it rips it. And I'm just not willing. So I've been going around looking like a goofball. I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to it. I guess if they did it in different colors, it would be fun. But anyway, so I'm just protecting my finger because I don't want that rip. Oh, in fact, so I ordered some from Amazon. Look, y'all, there are hundreds of them. I put them in a little jar. I'm telling y'all, if I weren't I'm not going to say what they look like. You figure it out. You just stick them on into your finger and they roll down. I could do matching. What do y'all think? So anyway, I use one. It's crazy. But it's a good solution, and I'm really grateful, Doug. So if you need any finger cots, let me know, because I have an abundance for sure. And that was like $5, y'all. It was like $200 for $5. I was like, woohoo, that's a good solution. So anyway, it beats a Band-Aid around my finger. Okay, let me tell you what else has been going on. This makes me laugh. So, in our family, in my extended family, when gifts are primarily for children, and so, we don't give a lot of gifts. We just give them all year long. It's just not a deal. It's just not something, what we need, we have, and what we want, we go get. So we don't do a lot of gifts. Well, like a week or 10 days before Christmas, my mother said, I know what I want for Christmas, which is, she never says that. And I'm like, okay. And she said, I want you to make a quilt for my neighbor. Okay. She has no idea what she's asking. Y'all know the feeling, right? Just make me a quilt. So I'm teaching this Saturday. I'm teaching 9-patch in a quilting class. And so I called Mother and I said, what colors? Because if I make something, I want it to, be the colors. It's for a guy that lives in her apartment. My mother's 85, I think. Yeah, that's right. She's 85. So she'll be 86 this year. And she called in, there's a man that lives in her apartment complex who helps her. And he's in his late 60s. But if she needs something from a high place and can't reach it, he helps her. You know how it is. Just sometimes you need a guy to help. So this is for his mother. And his mother lives in Portugal. Well, y'all, I don't know anything about what people in Portugal would like or whatever. I have no idea who these people are. So I called her and said, okay, Mother, if I'm going to start this quilt, what color palette? And she said, I want it to be pinks and blues, real soft. She wants pastels. Totally not my color palette. Totally not my color palette. Y'all get that, right? It's just out of my wheelhouse. I think it's pretty, but it's not me. Okay, so a girlfriend of mine gave a big donation. You're not showing the quilt yet, are you? It's just... So a girlfriend of mine gave a big donation to the, she called and said she had received a bunch of fabric. I went over and got some. It was Sandra, Noelle, that day we went over there. Well, in that, there was this fabric that was all border. I mean, it was like huge borders on each side of each selvage. This is what the border looked like. Do you see that? This was on one selvage, and the same exact thing was on the other selvage. Well, y'all, I don't have pastels in my stash, and I didn't want to go spend a lot of money right at Christmas. So I went through my stash and pulled out some colors. And what I did was I made, for this class, so the class could see a 9 patch, here's my 9 patch. I need one of those viewfinders again. See this? This is my 9 patch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I snowballed them. You see that? So that's my 9 patch. Anybody that's going to be in my... Hey, Mindy. Trish, I'm going to go back and answer your tool as soon as... Probably within the next week. The tools will be ready. The printing is what I'm waiting on. Okay, so here's the patch. And I made... I'll have to count how many blocks I made. And then I took that border that I got from Sandra and put all the way around it. Because this is going to a 92-year-old woman in Portugal who likes pastels. Okay, so this is what I made her for Christmas. I made a quilt for a woman in Portugal who is 92 years old. And I did 9 packs so I could use it this weekend. Ready? Can they see it?
Yeah.
See that border, y'all? It's a border. I love that. I love that I got to use it. Do you know how excited I was? This is it just felt very 90, like this. And then, of course, I just used my scraps on the back. And here's the funny part. The only light blue I had for some of these blocks is a light blue grunge. Just, you never know what's going to happen, right? So there's the light blue grunge. That's the snowballed corners. This was the stripe that was between the two selvages. There wasn't much of it, but I cut it up so I wouldn't have a whole lot left over. But blue, pink, purple, and then the whites and off-whites. So what do y'all think? Is that a good 92-year-old?
Betty wants to know what a snowball is. Maybe real quick.
Who said that?
Betty?
Oh, good. Betty, let me show you what a snowball is. This is important. This is real important. I've been talking about it all night long and I haven't told you, and I apologize. Okay, y'all see where I drew the orange peel on here earlier? And I talked about I have to fold this so you can see it. See, here's the block right here. See these triangles? The triangles on the corner are snowballs. Let me show you how you do it. If this were or you can ignore this or whatever. You put right sides together, just like this. And some people draw a straight line between corners. See that? And then stitch right across here. Once that is stitched down and you iron it, you have a triangle on the corner. That's a snowball. Now the cool thing about snowballs is you can do it in different different sizes. So that's a 5-inch square, but what if I didn't want one that big? What if I wanted one that was, my square was 2.5 inches? Then I would put it here. So you can draw across here. Or if you have one of those laser lights on your on your foot on your machine, You can use that to go from corner to corner. Or if you're like me, this is what I do. I fold it in half and hit it with an iron. And you see that crease? That's my stitching line. And so I just stick it here. And then I pin this. This is the side I'm going to keep. This is an important step. So I put it on the side I'm going to keep. And then I stitch across here. And just straight stitch across there. Take my pin out. And when I flip it, the snowball is only that size. So you see the difference between the sizes in snowballs. And it can be any size you want. So snowballing adds, now that you know what snowballing is, here's your snowball. Here's a snowball and here's a snowball. Now I'm going to go back to the pastel one. Let me find the block. Oh, here's the block. From here to here. So these two corners were snowballed. And these two corners. And I'm going to have this in class on Saturday. So
it makes that secondary square.
Yes. And so where the snowballs all come together, it makes this diamond. Square diamond. So how fun is that? Okay, so there's a good tip for the evening. Snowballing in 9 patches.
She said thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You are so welcome. Okay. I have to tell y'all something. Remember I told you I was making these blocks for my Bible quilt? Well, I am making these blocks. Here's one. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge.
Kind of do this. Back and forth. It glitters a little bit.
Okay, good. So I have finished all my blocks, y'all. Every one of them. See, do you see the beads on it? All of this is beads, and then all of those are beads I hand did. This will be a tool coming out that'll cut the circle. So anyway, I finished all of these blocks. There are 68 of these blocks. And all of them are different. Every single one of them is different. I don't know what I've shown you. But this one is, do not suppose that I've come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. And that was Jesus. So, I want the Bible scripture on the quilt, on each block. But how am I going to get it there? So I wanted perfect circles. I haven't appliqued this down, but I wanted perfect circles. So I got something that I have absolutely no investment in, other than I bought some, and I have got to show y'all. If you do not have this little tool, I have got to show you. It is called Apple Pops. Have y'all got, does anybody out there have the Apple Pops? It is a set of rings, metal rings, on a, this looks like a shower curtain thing to me. So you take 2 of the rings, depending on, if all the rings are for different sizes. This one, to make the one we did. This is the final size of the one I did. And look, see that perfect little circle? That perfect little circle right there? Let me show you how this works. And y'all, I'm not an Apple Pop distributor or nothing. I just know I've done 68 of them now. So you take the ring and you put it on the right side of the fabric. And you take the smaller size ring and you pop it in there. And it fits snugly. So you have to work it, to your, if it's not good and snug, it'll pop out. See, so now it's sitting there. This is the way I did it. You could cut your circles earlier, but this was so fast. I just did it this way. I just cut the fabric the same size as the outer ring. Y'all, I did this in a couple of nights, and so that tells you it was pretty quick. So now, do you see what I have? I have this little ruffle around that. Well, there are two. When you watch the video online, it says use watered down starch, so liquid starch with some water in it to starch it in place. But y'all know me, I'm going to use glue. But in this case, I finally, after some experimentation, I figured out what was, I'm just slapping that on like it's a little bit of lipstick, not much. I take my paintbrush. It's a crummy old paintbrush, right? No big deal. And it didn't absorb. There. And I wet this. Now, I don't want it sopping wet. I just want it damp so that I can manipulate the fabric. Watch. Are y'all watching? I could do a commercial for them. I tried about 6 or 8 of them before I settled into my, real fabric just to test it. Whoops. Did you see what just happened? That it came unsnug there. All right, so I just fold this over, and it's drying on me already, but that's okay. I fold that down. Now y'all know. Okay, now I hit it with an iron. See, glue and iron every. I use glue and I use irons a lot. So the starch works great, and that's how I've done several applique projects, but I have found that the glue is really, oh, Tammy, you can watch me anytime you want to. That little metal thing gets really, really hot. So I can take it off. This one's not nearly as hot. The bigger one is the one that absorbed the heat. Now, see, that's all dry. You see that? Now, I just loosen that from here. And grab it and pull it out. Okay. Now, I want that to stay. So I hit it one more time to get it super flat. Look at that, y'all. How's that for a circle? Isn't that easy? Am I doing this in the right spot? Okay. All right, so that's easy. So I did 68 of them, and all, y'all, I pre-printed my own. I printed the verse on, and that's a whole nother lesson I can teach you. If you're interested in how to print on your own fabric, you can do it. It's no big deal, and it's real easy. So anyway, I printed all the verses on the fabric, and then I cut it and made the apple pops. And now at night, I'll just hand stitch, applique that down, and each block will have the verse right over here. But if you're ever into applique and you are ever into making perfect little circles, I'm telling y'all, this is I wish I had thought of this myself, because I've lost them all. Do you see them? Here they are. So they come in different sizes. So the outer ring, the inner ring is the size that of your finished one. So this would be a 2-inch applique. This one is 1.5-inch applique. I think this is an inch applique. And then y'all look at this. Look at that itty bitty one. Cannot even imagine making one that little, but you can do it. So anyway, this is a great product. I was very excited. This was one of those. This is why we don't get Christmas presents, because I saw it and I said I have to have it, and I just bought it. So I'm all over that. Okay, questions. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad you like my videos. Okay, one last thing, I guess, and then we will break. I want to show y'all something I'm working on. So, you know, there are over 50 ways to make windows with my Dresden tool. And it's a true story. Year before last, I bought a bundle of fat eighths from a fabric designer. And I'll have to think of what her name is later because I can't remember. Anyway, I was just interested in her fabric choices. She just... Oh, I'm sorry, I can't think. Anyway, you'll see her fabrics and you may recognize them. Anyway, I bought a fat eighth bundle. And I've been holding on to them, not knowing what I wanted to do with them. They were Christmassy prints, but they are not Christmassy colors, and so I was not real sure what I wanted to do with them. And sometime over the holidays, it hit me another way to use the tool. So let me show you real quick before I show you the quilt. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is my tool with blue tape on it. There's always blue tape at my house. So here's the top, and there's a line right here under the see, here's the window. There's a registration mark, a line going straight across here. I took 6 different, in this case, I should probably pull this off so I can cut it. I lined this up just like so. The bottom line across here and the top line across here. Y'all see that? Just this much of the tool. Now, so I won't be filmed doing something dangerous. All right, you see what I did along this side, and here's the line across the bottom. This is why I had the big cutter out. Okay. I cut, and this was a fat quarter bundle. I cut 6 of these. So, these are real bright. But you'll get the idea. So, I was thinking that day, what if you made a Dresden with just the upper head, not even put a window in them. Right? So, there's 6, and then I cut 6 more. So, I would lay out these. And what if you did 4 of those to make a really modern looking quilt? How long would that take, and what would it, how would it turn out? So I learned some things, and I have the 4 Dresdens made. I have them pinned to my new design wall. I upgraded my design wall over the holidays with help from Doug, and it's pinned over there. So what I'm going to get him to do is swing around and show y'all. Let's go. Let's do this. So this is pinned on here. Got it? Right? It's just pinned on right now. I've got it pinned to this is my background fabric. And then I just have my Dresdens pinned on. What I'll do is once I get them positioned, then I'll pin them down as if I'm going to, and then take them and then top stitch. I'll top stitch all along this outer edge, and I'll top stitch all along. I'll make sure it's all flat. I just have it pinned up there. So, how modern and wild is that? So, all that negative space, I think, can be quilted really cool. I think it's just an interesting, simple, but y'all, it's so fast. Super easy. But I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts and comments are about it, because it's just a new idea. So if you were going to do something like that, if you were going to take and do something like that, the only trick I had was I tried 2 things. You have to fold the bottom edge under, and fold it so you have not a raw edge. You have to do that at the top and the bottom. So you notice over there I didn't make points. Well, one way I did it was I just sewed these two pieces together, right? And then did the whole thing and then folded the edges down. The other way was fold the edges down and then sew them together. And I like doing just sewing them together. And then I unpinned a stitch or two from the top and bottom so that I could fold it under and make it a finished edge. But anyway, other than that, it's cut, sew together, fold under and iron, and now you're ready to put it on a background fabric. It did not take me very long at all. The longest part of that was cutting it, and that didn't take any time at all. So I will just tell y'all, that was a fun little experiment. Did y'all, what do y'all think about that quilt I just showed you? Anybody like that or not? I'm not seeing comments, so tell me if the comments come in.
Okay.
So I had, I think, a dozen different, maybe 9 or dozen different fabrics for that. So that'll be real modern. I'll try to have that quilted by next week. It's going to be a real busy week around here, so that may be a stretch. But I can sure try. What other questions do you have?
You're getting lots of thumbs up and
Thumbs up, y'all like it good.
Noel says very cool.
I like sometimes I really like a real modern sort of vibe. And those colors in that were like just really interesting how she mixed Anna Marie Horner, that's her name, the fabric designer. Really eclectic. You should go look at her fabric line and her, oh my word, her home is those colors. It's really intense colors, but fabulously boho, sort of interesting. I just find it to be real interesting. Okay, so that's that. What else? I showed you how to do the apple pops. I think those are great. I showed you the bias tape. I showed you this. I think we're done. Anything else y'all can think of? Do you have any questions? I know, Connie, I'm with you. Modern is clean, so I'm the same way. Of course, I'm very eclectic. I mean, you know, but I love just real. Sometimes I just have a craving for a real modern looking quilt. And in my business world, I'm trying to reach all sorts of genres, right? All sorts of people that like, you know, very detailed or very... See, I'm not the one that's going to do the really intense small piecing. Like I did a Dear Jane, and it almost killed me. If anybody ever wants to do a Dear Jane, I started a Facebook support group because I was struggling. You can find it on Facebook. It is called Dear Jane Quilting. That was my group, and I started in 14. I finished the quilt in 16. Took me over 2 years. And then I thought I was going to die. But in the process, now there's over like 5,000 people in on that page. So, but they're always helping each other, and everybody is super nice. I don't have to kick anybody off ever. So if you're ever into Dear Jane stuff, please go there. Okay, I don't know if I told you or not, but I prayed for everybody today. I hope that you have a marvelous Monday. I hope you have a marvelous rest of the week. And I truly hope that this 2021 is going to be a spectacular year. Just keep the faith. It's going to be a rough, I think we're in white waters for the week. I'm hoping that the white waters settle down over the next week or so. Mercy. Just mercy. So I'm praying for you guys. If you have a special prayer request, let me know, because I will certainly add that to my daily prayer list. If you're interested in, like I said, in the Christian Quilt Guild meeting, we'd love to have you. It meets the first Thursday. It's this coming Thursday. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you ever have any questions, you just holler at me and let me know what's going on, and I'll do anything I can to help you. Y'all have a fabulous week and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.